Yo,
Hello, how are
how's it
you?
going? I'm pretty good.
Good,
What are
thanks.
you up to?
Not much. It's the morning. Just
Yeah,
just kind of got up. So yeah.
where are you calling from?
Pardon?
Where are you calling from?
New Zealand.
Oh no shit, I love New Zealand.
Yeah, cool. How have you been? Have you had a good day?
Yeah, I'm just in the studio. Um, I got this eye thing which is bugging me. It's totally fine, but my like
Oh,
vision is blurred from this like thing that is supposed to get better soon. But it's kind of made me feel fragile.
that sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. So thanks so much for doing this. This is really
yeah,
cool.
of course.
Um, so just before we started, I kind of just wanted to make this like a bit more casual. So it's not just me asking
Yeah,
you heaps of stuff.
totally.
Like you can ask me stuff back if you want to, or kind of more like a conversation. Does that sound good?
Yeah, right on. Of course.
Cool. So the first question I wanted to ask was, how does it feel to be like playing big venues now? Like you've like with this tour. So congratulations on this tour. How does it feel to be playing like the Forum and stuff? How do you and the band feel?
It's a funny feeling because Bleachers is such a it, it feels like this kind of it's always felt like this weird secret thing.
Yeah.
Um, and on the last tour, the show started getting pretty big, um, but it felt good because I feel like what's cool about the Bleacher shows getting bigger is that sort of the kids that have always been coming
Yeah.
have defined a culture, and then everyone else kind of has to get in step with that. Like the
Yeah.
person who just found out about the band can't be the one who says how it's going to go because there's years of like the culture that's been in place. Um, so I'm excited to like put that energy into like an arena and stuff and see what the hell that feels like. Um,
Yeah.
but I just I think that uh, yeah, it's thrilling. It's just very thrilling.
Cool. And so I was reading back on some of your interviews, and I think it was one from 2014. You talked about that feeling of like making it. You talked about playing at the Knitting Factory and like making it on live TV for the first time. Are you still sort of, do you feel like you've made it yet, or is it still kind of progressing?
I think at different stages there's I think the idea of making it is sort of a personal one, right?
Yeah.
So you have these weird. I think what I was probably talking about back then was that like there was a time when playing the middle room at the knitting factory was one thing, and then getting to play the top room was making it.
Yeah.
And there was also a time when getting to get 100 people to come to your show is making it. So I think there's like the literal quality of like being able to like support yourself and move out of your parents' house,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
you know more of a literal thing. But I think it's sort of the what your version sort of in the heart of making it is the one that really matters. Like at any given stage, there's something that you want, and usually it's just something artistic, and then you can imagine what it is you're trying to do and what that means and what making it looks like. So I think if you ever lose that feeling, um, like anyone who's got like some kind of fucking like I've arrived energy,
Yeah.
just fucking sucks. Like if you've arrived, then I don't know. Don't tell me about it. I don't care.
Yeah. It's an
I'm
ego
more
thing, isn't it?
interested. Yeah, people. I'm interested in people like in a process, and that's what the band is all about. It's what the music's all about. That's why I choose to make music. If I felt completely at peace with everything, then I wouldn't imagine there'd be much of a need to write. Probably just sit around and like bang on the drums all day.
Yeah. Cool. Thank
So
you.
the answer is no. I don't feel like I feel like I've achieved certain goals that I've always had, and they change and they grow. But I feel kind of the same way I've always felt, which is just pushing forward.
True. That's cool. So, kind of a silly question. Are you ever going to play Linton?
Fuck no.
No. Okay.
No,
Cool.
never, never, never.
Never ever.
If there's a Linden in your state, count on me never fucking coming.
Cool. So, and the next question's from Sandra. She wondered, like, so back in 2020, obviously there was the pandemic. Yeah. all of that. What was the moment like when you realized you could tour again? Like the exact moment in your head. What were your thoughts when you like,
I
oh
I
wow, I
didn't
can
think it
tour?
was I didn't think it was possible until I actually did it. I was like, hearing people like starting to book tours and hearing shows were kind of happening, and then, it was always sort of happening like in certain places in America. But I was like, I don't believe it till it happens.
Yeah,
And because even the first show back was Shadow of the City, and we had sold tickets to that show so long before that.
true.
Um, and so I think I think a few days before that, like when we started getting the band together and rehearsing, but even when we got together for rehearsals, I was like, what the fuck? Are we just gonna, is everyone just gonna get COVID and the whole thing's gonna shut down? But a few days before, I was like, oh, this show is actually gonna happen. And I just remember, there was all these like loose feelings of fear and sort of anxiety, but really I was just fucking excited.
Yeah,
It all just feels like there's like a lot of leeway now. Like I feel like if the show doesn't happen, people are very forgiving because they understand.
yeah, yeah,
So I mostly just felt like really, I don't know, not to sound cheesy, but just so fucking grateful. Like I was just looking at what everyone went through to be there. Like even the band and the crew, I know all their personal lives. I know what it took for them to even get to rehearsal, let alone get to the show. And it's just so heavy. There was such a heaviness to everything. It reminds me of any point in my life, where there's something really horrible going on. And that's sort of, it's interesting to talk about today with Ukraine, where
yeah,
it just all terrible and frightening things just, I mean, unless you're super fucked up, it just makes you want to like turn towards the people you love and the things you love. And
exactly.
that's kind of what COVID did with the music. We just, you know, I always say there's no cynicism in live music because, the internet's a shit show and this and that, but no one comes to a show cynically, right? Like,
Yeah, like they're there for you. They're there for your bands.
we're there for each other. We're there because we agree. We don't agree on everything, but we're there because we agree that it's the place to be.
Yeah,
And I think it's the place to be, and the crowd thinks it's the place to be, and the band thinks it's the place to be, and that's cool. That's such a bigger jumping off point than most things in life, where no one can fucking agree on anything. So that's a pretty non-cynical environment. So to take something that was like all the way up here and kick it up another level is pretty cool. It's this is super special. It makes it, the fragility of it makes it that much more special.
cool. Thank you. That makes so much sense. Yeah. The next question from such a cool person. I'm sure you know Bleachers memes, Kaylee.
I love Bleachers
And
memes.
yeah, she's
Fucking
so
brilliant.
cool. And her foot, her.
They're all just brilliant. It's fucking. There's never been a more brilliant group of comically brilliant group of people.
Yeah, she's so cool. She wondered, like, what are you and the band's favorite song to play live? Like together, like you get this. Surely there's
It
a special
changes.
song.
It changes, and the last tour was definitely "How Dare You Want More," because that was like, I always thought that was a weird song. Like I didn't think it could be a single. I just thought it was a really weird song about like family and anxiety, and then because the it's the audience that determines what's we could play the fuck out of whatever we want,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. People are either gonna make it their own or not. Like, and "How Dare You Want More" is definitely the song on this album where we're like, this shit goes off like "Don't Take the Money." Like this shit goes
yeah,
all the way off, and so I didn't expect that. Whereas like other songs, like "I Love Secret Life," and it was always, we had a good time playing it, but like that's one where I was like, thought it would be more of a moment.
yeah,
And it's a song like "How Dare You Want More" that actually is more of a moment, and that's cool because it's like when you're making a record, you have all these ideas, and then you decide how you're going to put it out, and you decide how you're going to hold on one sec. What is this shit? Sorry, someone just sent me something weird. You decide all this shit, and then, but it's cool because it's almost like having a baby. It's like you can make all these plans. You could dress your baby how you want. You could do all these things. You could paint the room how you want, but it's going to be what it is.
Yeah,
and you can't control that. And that's what's fun about making a record is like, I can put out a single, I could put out the record, I could make videos, I could do whatever I want. But at the end of the day, once it's in everyone's hands, it's going to be what it's going to be. And they're going to be the ones who sort of say, which songs are going to react which way when we play them live. So that's the one right now, but it sort of changes moment to moment on the tour.
Cool. Next question's from another really awesome person, Rehab from Bleachers Fan Art.
Oh yeah.
She's so cool. She's such a light in the community, you know, like she does so much extra work, like the Bleachy Times and the Pocket Jack.
That stuff's all this shit. We all see that stuff. It's the best.
Yeah. So she wondered about Bleachy Times. Have you read it? Have you like ever like gone and read it, or like, and what are your thoughts on it and the Pocket Jack sort of stuff that she does?
I've read Bleachy Times, and for the most part, it seems like anti-me propaganda.
That's the best way to describe it, definitely.
So carry on. I'm not here to suppress anyone's ideas.
Yeah. She also wondered if you would ever want to do an interview with like a sort of transcript for her Bleachy Times.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So now
I'd rather talk to everyone in the Bleachers community a lot more than half the people I do talk to.
Yeah. So I have some quick fire sort of questions now. First one from my mum. She wondered what your favorite book is at the moment.
My favorite book is... Oh, it's a really interesting question. Well, I'm not a huge reader, so I could tell you my favorite book, but it feels a little bit like...
Or TV show or movie?
That's better for me. I'm super auditory and visual. I always had like trouble in school and younger reading. Everyone thought there was something wrong with me. And so it's like, it was never a huge part of my life because of that.
Yeah.
My favorite TV show is The Sopranos or Twin Peaks. At the moment, my girlfriend and I are watching a show called The Way Down, which is a documentary about this like crazy church in America that's all about weight loss, insanely horrible. I like all the things that a lot of people like. I also like a lot of shit, also a lot of like shit from the 90s. I like the Gilmore Girls.
That's great.
And my favorite movie is Apocalypse Now.
Cool. Thank you. So this is sort of a joint question from Isna Mukbang and Bella. They both, the first question part was, what's your favorite Jewish dish?
Jewish dish?
Yeah.
I like matzo balls.
Yeah.
With or without the soup. I like big, fucking dense matzo balls.
Cool. And your favorite dish on the road, like when you're touring and with the band or traveling?
Touring, I really like to. What do we eat a lot of on tour? And tour's weird. It's almost like there's something like it's almost like we're like athletes. Like there's like a lot of like grilled chicken and greens. Like when I'm on tour, I treat my body in this like very athletic way. Like it's very it's pretty like boring and fucking stupid and regimented, like ginger shots and grilled chicken and like like I eat like an asshole in LA. Yeah.
Ashley wonders, will you keep your promise to play Texas Man in Dallas?
Yes, but I always sometimes I forget things. So
yeah,
the best thing Ashley could do for me would be to just relentlessly scream it from the audience, even in quiet emotional moments. Just make sure I hear it.
Perfect. Anna and Alexis wondered, what's your favorite fan gift or merch? I kind of have an idea.
I mean, there's so many. Bleachers fans make better merch than we do. So like, it's really hard to tell.
Michelle
makes amazing merch.
Yeah.
Michaela and Alexis, I don't know. I think it was Michaela who made the sweatshirt that I gave to my girlfriend, which she won't stop wearing. The 91 hoodie is amazing.
I know.
I wonder if maybe we could like buy the rights from some of these people and mass produce them, or like just like do like a collaboration, or like the "How Dare You Want More" shirt that says "Dare."
Yes,
like
you could do like a fan sort of merch.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or something.
I wonder how we do that, but that would be great. Because it's just like the coolest shit, like it's kind of like what I was saying about the records. Like I could make some t-shirts and I like, and we make cool tour t-shirts and stuff because like commemorates the shows, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's all the inside jokes that are the shit that I want to wear.
Yeah. Have you seen the Twitter account? Did Jack get his hoodie back from Margaret yet?
No.
Oh, well, they keep
I'll
asking.
have to look for it.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for it and just head over there and just endure just more abuse.
Yeah, you just have to put up with it, you know. Alexis also wondered, is there a meaning like behind, you guys have sort of been, we've kind of noticed that you've been, I don't know if it's like this meaning, you've sort of been using the fire heart emoji, like the heart with the fire. Is there any meaning behind that for the next album? Like the tomato was,
There could be.
could be.
Period. I don't know
Okay.
yet. I'm working on it. I've just been working so much that I sometimes there's like visual representations that end up either like being things or not.
Yeah. And my mum had another question. Is there a genre of music you would like never listen to? Like one that you just shy away from, or are you quite open to?
I'm pretty open. I'd also like I don't often really hear things in genres. Like usually I just hear, you know, I think genre is like interesting. You know, there's obviously different genres, but like at the end of the day, there's like just something beneath that grabs you, like well
Yeah,
beneath the genre.
cool. Um, there's sort of like an explain the lyric question from Bleachers memes. Kaylee, she wondered, we've all been a bit confused by the "Still my mother, still my wheel" lyric, and how do you
A
want more?
wheel's a guiding force.
Ah,
A
that makes
wheel is,
sense.
you know, the wheel is, you know, moves in directions and goes the ways you want to go, and you can have your hands on the wheel. But I just like the imagery of using the wheel as the guiding force. So
Yeah,
you know, in the verse I'm saying um talking about anxiety and fear and myself, my father, and my mother. And then when I get to my mother verse, I sort of wrap it up and say, "Still my mother, still my wheel."
yeah.
So you know, no matter how much some of these people in your life can be anxious, they can still be a guiding
So
force.
that's so I like that. I like that. Edison wondered, with "Don't Take the Money," you've been sort of, we've noticed that you sort of change a lyric section before the chorus, and
Yeah,
you sort of you tweeted about it once. Could you give? It's kind of confused us.
I refuse to clarify this.
Okay, okay,
I utterly
that's
refuse to clarify this, and the reason why is also something I won't clarify.
that's okay.
And I'll probably just get a whole lot of shit for that.
Yeah, that's you know, that's what we expect. um, next question. Bleachers data, the most amazing. She put so much work in, you know, and when you
It just has
follow the lyric,
incredible. It's also like it's interesting because it's like it's just shit that I wouldn't even know.
yeah,
It
yeah,
fascinates me. I would say Bleachers data has had an actual effect on my writing.
yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Kara would love to hear that. She sort of wondered, she asked you in the Reddit thing, she wondered, you, what did I do with all this faith? There's the tense change in the song and the lyrics. Are you
Yeah.
open to talking about that now, or would that rather be sort of a more,
What's the question that just the difference between
yeah, what's the, is there why is there a tense change? And the, you talked about what did I do with all this faith, but in the song you have a tense change, so you're not singing it in the same tense.
oh I mean I've done this in other songs where I just sort of like you know, sometimes it usually works well with a question, but like I like the idea of, you know, like what did I,
Yeah,
it's sort of the same thing in my head, which is like I think there's a big theme in that in Bleachers is looking at the past for the future, looking at the future for the past. So it's something that I kind of naturally do when I'm writing, where I feel the need sometimes to like flip the time period I'm speaking from.
yeah,
And with that song, I just sort of liked the feeling of it. You know, because I wrote the song and then I sort of felt like it was a song I kind of always had. Like it's not like sometimes you
yeah,
write a song and it feels very present. It feels like you're talking about right now. That song felt like one that I happened to write right now, but was one that I could have written 10 years ago or 10 years from now.
yeah.
And so I just kind of kept fucking with
It's
the tense on it.
a very evolving sort of, you know, yeah. So it's not set in one
Yeah.
point. It isn't. Yeah,
No. And I like that. I like how it can just sort of move around or how people could hear it in different ways.
cool. Um, and Deb
There's like that
wondered,
line, like, you know, like, in, one of my heroes, it's not, where it is, and then nothing does till somebody sold us all kind of
yeah,
actually like nothing dies till somebody's soul does, and it sort of means two things. You know, nothing dies till somebody's soul does, SUL. Nothing dies till somebody's soul does, SOLD. Somebody sold us all kinds of lies. It's not obviously the same as like changing tense, different word, but a lot of things like that happen. You're starting to write things down. You realize that you wanted to say it two ways, or you wanted to say two different things, or you wanted to say it in two different time periods. And what's nice about writing songs, you know, there's no science to it, so you just can.
Yeah.
And then people can either get it or not, or they could get something that you don't even get. And so I don't feel a lot of pressure to have things land in some like academic way.
Yeah. Cool. So we might have to move a wee bit faster. Sorry, I've got
Sorry, no, go ahead.
no. So New Zealand, you talked with Maddie about coming to New Zealand. Obviously, there's still the pandemic. So is that still on your list? You know, I'm heavily invested in that.
I'm trying to come everywhere, but New Zealand, Australia, Mexico, UK, Europe, Japan, we're actually like looking at dates and places.
Really?
It's gotten a bit hard to pinpoint exact times. Everything keeps changing, and South America too.
That's awesome.
So those are the places that we're like actively saying like, when can we get there? And it's tough with international because you kind of got to like string a couple things together.
Yeah.
But we're truly working on that, and I think we'll announce other stuff too. I mean, we'll definitely announce it. Hopefully London, Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
I think a couple things are already on the books to be announced soon.
Cool. And that sort of brings you on to my next sort of topic of like discussion. Nothing Is You. I've talked about sort of on my account wanting to talk about the song with you. It's obviously a very vulnerable song. And it's amazing to me how you can put out such vulnerability in your songs. And you talk about your people, you're putting it out to your people, but then it's for everyone to hear, and I love this song. I've taken it also sort of its own meaning in my life, like when my grandmother passed away just last year. And so
sorry to hear that.
It's not like the song's not about that, obviously, but taking it and meaning, and Nothing's Changed Me, like quite like you. She was a huge influence on my character, and so sort of what I'm wondering is, will you play it in New Zealand? There's no pressure, but like
I'll definitely play it in New Zealand. I want to play it more in the next tour. There's a bunch I want to bring that around. I want to bring Reckless Love back.
Keeping a Secret, that would be awesome.
That'd be interesting. I want to bring the full band of Like River Runs back, the big version.
Yeah,
but Nothing Is You, I think I wrote it about someone I was dreaming of.
Yeah,
which is actually very much the person I'm with now. But I've always had this impression of this person I would be with that would become the most important thing. And I never had it till now, but I would write about it. And so, sometimes I write from a fictional place. I was writing about, this, I guess, sad song about how, it's actually kind of an optimistic lyric, even though the song sounds so sad.
It is.
Because I'm, it's worthless to stop and build a home. I can't be alone anymore. I can't.
My best friends,
Yeah, I don't know, challenge them to leave. That's I can't keep it clean anymore. It's sort of like how complicated your life becomes. And then the chorus is basically, but fuck it, because nothing's changed me quite like you.
And
nothing
is
nothing is you. It's just a basic lyric. I think I wrote that for my future self, which is now.
That's so sweet. I love it. And even looking at And Nothing Is You, it's just the production difference is amazing. And because you're really exposing, it's a lot rawer in my opinion, like your vocals and everything's so much more vulnerable and like, emotive. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And there's obviously the bridge sort of bit, middle eight, the idea, will it feel like thunder when the long drive's over? I'll walk in silence with you. I'll wander through silence with you. That kind of tells the secret about the song, which I don't think everyone always gets, which is that I didn't have the person when I was writing it. Will it feel like thunder? Will it? When the long drive's over, I will. So it's the song is about wanting something that you don't have. The person doesn't exist yet. Man. Like I said, they do now, which is nice, but it was almost like a mantra to, what will it feel like when I find that person that is the one who's changed me the most?
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. I've always wanted to talk to you about that song. It's my
Yeah, it's one of my
favorite.
favorites.
Yeah.
I always love people who it's like that's their favorite, or Who I Want
Yeah.
You to Love, or Good Morning, or just kind of these songs that I think are the most important.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of moving on. I have to try and go a bit quick because I think we only have like
Yeah, go
five
for it.
minutes. What would be one word to describe a theme in B4? Or is there anything else you can tell us about B4? I know it's kind of, yeah,
Oh, it's kind of frenetic and loud,
loud and
and
funny.
yeah, and like kind of like the feeling of what's been happening at the shows made me just want to make a really alive album. Um,
So it's
but
most similar to Take This Out on a Saturday Night, or most similar
no, it
to,
feels a little bit like kind of like some of the more frenetic moments on Gone Now, but also just like a step in a different direction, which I can't even really explain. Um, I just sort of know it when I hear it, and I know the instruments that I'm getting it from, and I know what I want to be writing about. There's quite a few more kind of like pissed off moments, which have been interesting to write about.
yeah, cool. Thank you. So next question. My music teachers, I love, like, a good music teacher obviously encourages you and gets you into music, right? And I'm still in high school. My music teachers are just amazing. So I thought I would give them the opportunity to ask you a question. I
Yeah,
didn't say who, but so they wondered, the first one, Mr. McNamara, he wondered, how do you define a great musician? Like, coming from a person like you who's in
very
the
simple. The
industry.
simple way to define a great musician is someone who can express an emotion through an instrument.
Cool.
Period.
Yeah.
And that could be through the most skill or the least skill, and you could have the most skill and express no emotion, and then you're just sort of like a technician.
Yeah.
But a musician to me is someone who expresses a feeling through an instrument.
Yeah. And Mr. Bobman, my other teacher, he wondered, what advice would you give a young person? Because it's so important for a young person to hear from someone like you to get into music, like advice. Because, there's so many people
Yeah, the
who,
biggest
yeah,
advice I give young people is that the whole point of music, and as a broader concept, art, is to do things that haven't been done, and just feel unique to how you feel things or hear things. So to get any advice is sort of flawed as a whole. You just
yeah,
make what you actually feel like making. There's advice on how you should move through the industry, but that's all stuff you can kind of look up.
yeah,
The one thing is that anyone who tries to tell you what you need to sound like or what you need to do to be successful is a moron, because
yeah,
the whole, it's almost like the quickest way to have no success is to conform.
yeah. Cool. Thank you. Another question. The MTV Unplugged final. I know we've been asking you about this all the time, but I just love that album. And is it ever gonna be repressed? Because it's just so hard to get in the market. And the same with the Terrible Thrills. I know the Terrible Thrills isn't
Oh
gonna be
yeah, I've already
repressed, but
Terrible
like,
Those won't be, but I've already repressed MTV Unplugged, and I
really?
didn't make I didn't make a lot of them. We made some of them, and we're gonna just bring them out randomly to some of the shows on the next tour.
The shows.
Yeah,
Will
just,
they
and we'll only
be,
sell them there.
so not
And,
online?
well, I'll save one for you, but I think we're gonna do it only at shows, and there aren't a lot of them, so it'll just sort of show up at certain shows. And I'm gonna do the same thing with Live at Electric Lady. We pressed some,
Really?
so yeah, but the same thing will only show up at certain shows.
That's so exciting. Thank you.
Um, yeah, sorry, I just like to keep the vinyl like super scarce. That way, it's
Yeah.
just super special. But I don't
Yeah.
think anyone should. I don't think anyone should ever pay more than what something costs, whether it's a ticket or a vinyl. And anyone who
Exactly.
sells that shit for more is
Scalpers. Yeah.
just
Don't
fucking
even,
sucks. Yeah.
because I've been looking for Steel Train and especially the Terrible Thrills with the And Nothing Is You, because they're so special, but there's no market in New Zealand for them and they're so expensive. So
Yeah. Gracie, do we have any of those that we could send over?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, maybe
that
send a
would be
package after
amazing.
of whatever we got on those.
Totally.
But yeah, we're pressing a bunch of that, and it's like that's the scalping thing is just, there's no way, like, I've done everything, it's just fucking impossible, and it's
Yeah.
the worst thing ever.
And you
But
can't, you can't
we
do,
have every protection, and they still do it, and we're trying new things every day. But the vinyl thing, I try to
yeah,
really just get in the hands of fans, and one way to do that is like to just sell it at shows, because it's like then the kids who are online first, they get there first and they can get it first, and like and so it's just not gonna like know, but it's tough because then somehow it ends up in weird places, and it's a bummer, anyone. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of shit I go on for like an hour, just rage at people who.
That's why you're doing it at the show, so then the people who are there can get the ones.
But we're printing a bunch of stuff, and there's some secret stuff we're doing too on the next tour that I think will just sort of exist there.
It's absolutely amazing. Really quickly, Joe wondered if you could name each Bleachers album after a song on them, what would they be? Like, could you do that quickly?
Yeah, so like well, I would say the way I hear that question is like, what's the song that defines the album?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Strange Desire is 100% defined by Reckless Love. That's the song that to me developed the sound of the band. Gone Now is 1,000% Foreign Girls.
Yes.
Even though it's not necessarily the rest of the album doesn't sound like what I'm talking about. It's like I was very anxious and depressed at that time, and I couldn't get a handle on what I wanted. I was just reaching at so many things, and that song just sounds like it. And Take the Sadness to Saturday Night, 100%. I would say is What Do I Do With All This Faith?
Really?
Yeah, it's just the ultimate sentiment of that album. Once again, even though the whole album doesn't sound like it, there's the horn swells and it's sort of live-ish, and I'm just basically, it's the question I'm asking myself. So like Reckless Love is a bit of like a darker, meditation on sort of the love that's twisted and messed up. Foreign Girls, is the big question is, what is Gone Now?
Yeah.
First line Gone Now, thinking about what Gone Now, like a part of me walked out. And What Do I Do With All This Faith is it's a bit of a more hopeful sentiment, but it's still asking that question, like, what do I do with this? Where do I put this feeling?
I had to ask this from Bleachers film, the awesome Bleachers film. Her photos, I love the photos that she's collecting, Sarah. She wondered, what type of film do you use? Can you?
Portra 800, and I shoot with a Contax T2, I think, one of those, which I'm not sure, T something.
And Sarah from Bleach Fits. Have you heard of Bleach Fits? Like she finds your clothes, and she's awesome. She wondered, where do you shop for your clothes mainly?
My girlfriend buys a lot of my clothes, and
she has better taste than you, you'd say?
Yeah, for sure. But I wear a lot of shit that like people throw on stage, like that Beehive Collective shirt has become pretty in the mix. So I just like, to me the music is wild enough. I like to dress down a little bit, and let people think there's a thread of normalcy that there actually isn't. I think it's cool because then like I think if you dress nuts, it's like it doesn't keep the secret. And I feel like the level of kind of psychosis that may or may not be going on in me is a little bit masked by like the jeans and the shirt.
Yeah, cool. So we have to start wrapping up now, but thank you so much for doing this. And sorry about my harassment in my account.
No, please. It's, what? It makes me feel like family. The way I express love, which is something I'm working on in analysis, is to just endlessly fucking make fun of the people I love. So I realize this is a culture I've created, and I realize that I just have to suffer through it. And that's my way of sending love. Yeah.
And thank you for following my account and seeing what I do. It's so grateful.
I love all this shit. It's the best community. I wish I could be accepted into it, but I guess I'm just every community needs a common enemy.
Yes. Cool.
So I hold my fucking position firm.
Yeah. You're the one that we can harass and bully.
Yeah, you guys seem to love Zem, so go to town.
Yes, Zem's awesome. Love the band members, all of them.
Even the crew, but
the crew, yes. Bleachers crew. Sorry, I had to ask. Bleachers crew. Can you name who that is?
I don't know who does that.
You don't know who does that?
Will you tell me?
I don't know who does that. None of us know.
I don't know who does it. I love the work.
None of us know who does it.
But I do think that you guys should continue to harass the fuck out of the crew. I mean,
yeah.
These people are just wild motherfuckers. They deserve all the harassment.
Well, they've been leaving us on scene, like you sometimes. So it's
Yeah, I mean, wild shit. This is a wild group of freaks.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for this interview, Jack. I
Great to talk. See you
really
soon.
appreciated it. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Have fun on tour. See ya.